I've been thinking about this for a very long time because I am a good girl. I am a good girl with all what the word means.
Like, smile for me, baby. You know.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah. So that's basically what we're supposed. You feel like that's what you're supposed to do.
For women, you're not allowed to be angry or shout or vent, or you have to do it like in a certain manner.
We just need to listen to each other and go, oh, that's difficult. That sounds challenging. Or that, I'm here for you. I see you. I see your struggle. You guys, what do y'all feel is probably the most important or most challenging issue about being a woman in Egypt today?
Well, the most challenging thing that I experienced from my life in Egypt was the expectations of people, because you grow up and you have your family expectations and the society expectations. So when you're a young girl, you don't know so much about life, so you find it hard to find who you really are, so I've been through. I got confused by many expectations, like from my family, like what are you supposed to study? What are you supposed to work? What your job has to be? So that was one of the most challenging things, and it took a lot of time to get to become free from those expectations, and try to find what who I am, what is the real self, and what I really want to do in this life. So yeah.
And I've realized that I may not realize my challenges because I was born and raised in a certain framework, so I don't know, maybe I was challenged, but I don't know. But I think I come from a very well educated family. My parents were educated. They were my friends more like parents, but they still had this image of that you have to like do the housework. You have to, this is the most important thing, is just to prepare yourself to be a wife. Even though that we're cultured, we my dad like used to take us to concerts and artwork and art exhibits, but still at the end of the day, you just have to learn how to cook, how to prepare dinner for and this was like not appealing to me. I hated it to the point that I don't like to cook right now. I hate it.
This day too. Like, if my dad asks me to do anything, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And if I think if I meet like someone that I love, or or share a house with, I'm probably not gonna cook for them either, because I'm just not. So, but the challenges themselves, pretty much just existing as a woman. Pretty much that's just feeling, not comfortable in my own skin, and just feeling judged, and pretty much wherever I go, like I the thing that I want most, I think, is just being able to walk on the street without being harassed or judged, or just, I don't know, scrutinized, or just kind of, so people just, tend to be a little overly, you know, observant of what I say, or how I move, or what I do, or just pretty much anything that I do. So I think that's the big problem, is just, people just, being.
Yeah, so it's interesting. People are always asking me, my experience of here, being in Egypt. And it's been really interesting. And, I feel like a lot of the things that I experienced here were things that I experienced in my own community maybe 20 years ago. With this kind of, a lot of the good girl conditioning of, worrying about how you're perceived, what you're wearing. And being a guest here, I've, enjoyed the benefits of community, all these amazing things. But I slowly realized that I an attempt to kind of cover and not offend anyone, that I slowly lost connection with myself, with my body as a woman. And this has been really challenging. And I guess it's looking at what are the expectations and where am I compromising in a way, and in a way that I'm creating, you know, because I see other women around me who wear things with more confidence, and they kind of, you know, have a lot more confidence when they're, you know, going out in the way they dress. So I guess maybe it's, you know, a conditioning with the self, you know, when you're living maybe in fear, or you're trying to be polite, but you also, you don't want to offend. So it's like that whole, you know, how to find that balance, you know. So I've been kind of, you know, exploring that and seeing how, and looking at other Egyptian women and asking them, how do you do it? You know, how do you wear that? Or, you know, and how do people around you, how does your partner respond to that? How does your mother respond to that? How, you know, and so it's been very interesting to, you know, to talk with people about that and how you're perceived on what you're wearing, you know, how you express yourself in your fashion or your style, you know. So, no, it's been interesting.
Challenges, even if we had our childhood in different societies, like, yes, like the good girl conditioning.
Yeah.
Yes, it's universal. Yes, because we have this idea in the Arab societies that people who are from America, they are free and they can do whatever they want and they don't have any problems or anything. But the truth is, it's really nice to talk to someone from outside, يعني, to someone from outside our society, to know that we have similarities in the those challenges, because I think we all had this problem of trying to be the good girl, to please your family and the society, and you hide many things and cut many things from your personality so you look good and presentable. And yeah, so it's the same journey. So yes, and it takes a lot of work to balance how can you reveal more of your personality, of your real personality, and balance it with the cultural rules and norms, because you want to respect the culture, but at the same time you don't want to lose yourself. And this is it's a problem that or a mistake that many of us do, like, and I did it. So at the beginning I wanted to please everyone, so I lost a lot of my personality. So it became to the level that I don't know who I am anymore. And but it doesn't work, because it's not going to work on the long term. So I, it, I had to work on the idea of balancing, how to respect the society norms and be myself.
You wear something and you want to feel comfortable wearing something, whatever you want to wear. But for me, it was challenging because, like, I join, or I belong to a lot of circles that are different from each other. I mean, my mom, she comes from like a poor family, so you have to match like certain standards there. You can't say a lot certain things. You can't express yourself, like they find it weird. For example, that when I said I do yoga, for example, they laugh like, what are you doing? In other circles, they accept it.
Yeah.
They can understand things that you do and think, and opinions. So the challenges are not just in the way you dress, because when you mentioned the way we dress, it affects me because you know, clothes puts me in certain moods. Yes, if I dress formal, or if I dress like wearing my conservative hijab, I have to act in a certain way. Yeah, okay. But if I'm with some friends and I'm not wearing my hijab, I also act in certain. I feel free. Yeah, okay. So So I feel for you. I honestly feel for you when you said that. I know how much you suffer here. Yes, how much foreigners suffer in Egypt, especially when with men looking at you in a not a good way. I don't have a word to express it yet.
So you're talking about the part where you don't want to offend people, and I feel like it doesn't really have anything to do with offending someone, because I feel like from your side you just don't want people's feelings to be, hurt or just, disrespected or anything like that. And I I don't think it has anything to do with that. I feel like people here are just, I don't know, they can be, I don't know, when it comes to women, they just, for me, because I seem like I'm a lot younger than I actually am, so people take that for granted, and they just feel like if they do something or say something, I won't be able to respond or anything like that. So I feel like they're not offended. They think it's their right to control you. So I feel like, it just has something to do more with, being comfortable in what you're doing and what you're wearing. Because men are just so comfortable with whatever. Like, nobody judges men for what they wear, like,
Yeah.
ever. And it's just so, and they can just, I don't know, I have to carry my bag with me every time I go out, and it has everything that I need. Like, I can't go out without a phone, because I feel like if something happens on the street, I need my phone with me.
Yeah.
So just a safety thing, and men just, they can just walk around not carrying anything, and they're just so, they don't care, and because they are a lot safer than we are. And yeah, and so for me, the whole clothing thing, my mom wore the burqa, if you know the niqab, and from head to toe you couldn't tell what that woman looked like. And so that was my childhood, just me looking at my mom and thinking that will be me when I grow up. And I just, and I just tried to be a good girl, and and just kind of be, try and follow in her footsteps. And I actually wore hijab before, and I just, also for the wrong reasons, I didn't feel connected to it at all. I just felt like I wanted to appease to my mom and just to society, and I felt like people respected me a lot more, or just, thought of me as more mature when I wore it. So I just kept it. So I just kept wearing it. And then I just got to a point where I felt like, no, I'm not feeling connected to it in any way. And I just don't want to wear the burqa, and just, I want to I don't want to feel like my body will never see the sun ever again. I want to go out. I want to wear whatever it is that I want to wear. And I'm still finding it really, really hard. Like, I'm really trying to be brave and just wear whatever it is that I want.
And you really are. I just have to say, moving to Alexandria, you were such an inspiration to me,
Oh
because
my
you're
God,
so
yeah.
brave and courageous.
you.
And what you're wearing, I'm like, oh, okay, so there are women who are just living life. And so you really inspired me in that way,
Thank you.
to make me realize that that
Yeah.
you can still wear something and feel comfortable and not have to worry about pleasing everyone.
Yeah.
So
Well, walking down the street wearing something short or something a little revealing or anything like that, if I show my legs, or if I show, just any part, and people on the street, I would be really, really just so nervous, because people would be staring, people would be making comments, and I would just feel like something bad is going to happen. Like, I get really, really scared. But then I feel like I need to do it, because men here, or some women here, are like, no, you can't do that here. That's not the place for that. You just need to wait to just wait until you maybe travel somewhere else where the rules are different, or you just go to certain places where stuff like that is allowed or is okay. But I'm like men don't hear that, like, at all, like, ever. Like, they
and you look at the pictures of Alexandria, everyone, when I moved here, everybody was like, oh, it used to be amazing 20 years ago. And they show me pictures of women wearing bikinis and mini dresses.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's like how that's changed over time,
Yeah.
what's the norm or things like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see like how Alex will be in another 20 years.
Yeah.
Showing who you really are with what are your real feelings takes a lot of courage. This is something that I struggle with sometimes, like showing
Me too, yeah.
showing the real what I
Me.
really feel about
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
But so as you said, as you want this peace, I want your courage.
Oh.
Yeah, yes. Sometimes, yes, I feel like I can express myself more than this, or I can express. I don't have to be this accepting, and sometimes show a little bit of anger, sets a boundary or something. So so being balanced is very important, like balancing between showing your real feelings and covering them at
Pleasing
some
everyone,
time
yeah.
and express yourself in a presentable way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing about me. I've always been very expressive of how I feel, and people can see it on my face, very easy. And I don't know, that's the only way I know to be is authentic.
Yeah.
I can't be that fake,
Yeah.
or I can't, pretend like I'm just happy all the time. I think it's a really important part of just being who you are,
Yeah.
and you know, expressing that. But I mean, it's funny because some people do get stressed or they get upset because it's triggering for them because they want everything to be peaceful, or so again, it's like accepting yourself, accepting what your emotions are. And I think, as you were saying, people will eventually accept you, or you choose people around you that accept you for who you are in your environment. So that way you're free to be who you are, and you're not expected to be perfect all the time. You're not expected to be, positive and, in a great mood all the time. You're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to be stressed. You're allowed to be, anger at times, and
or something that I want to feel feminine in. So you get men staring at you, even though I'm not revealing anything. But sometimes it makes me sick that I just want to hide. I had this phase of my life that I just want to hide in my hoodies. I want to hide in a hoodies and sweatshirts, something white that men just wouldn't look at me as a woman. I don't want to be noticed as a woman, because if I'm noticed as a woman, they would just have compliments, and that's all they see in you. That's all they see, your body. You look, oh, you look so beautiful. Yeah, but I want to express my personality, my identity. It's not my looks. So I just want to hide in men's wear so that they can just communicate with me
which
as a
is
woman.
crazy that we do that, and they're looking their worst. When you're like, it's like,
yes.
I don't know, it's why they take that opportunity sometimes to go, oh, you're just in sweats and a ponytail, well, let me. So really, it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you. So why do we dim our light for fear out of getting attention, when really we should, be talking about, maybe we should talk about etiquette, about not staring, or things that are like simple things to make more awareness about making people feel more safe, or but I mean, having said that, having lived in the US and the UK, I know some of y'all were shocked to say that I felt actually safer in Egypt. You do get a lot of attention, a lot of but at the end of the day, I do feel safe. I do feel safer here. So that is something that, and I feel like if anything happened, somebody would help you, here. Whereas in the US, they're like, walk right over your body, probably, like, out of my way. I'm, on my way somewhere. So they do like to know what people's business is. They're also there to help too.
Yeah, but yeah, they blame very provocative. It's really frustrating, because you feel for women who get, all of us got harassed at some point. Okay? But then you don't share it, you don't express it, because you fear that someone would say, "What were you wearing at that time?" I was being
Shaming the
myself,
victims. Yeah, it's
yeah.
terrible when that
Yeah.
happens.
Um, my mom, when she was wearing the burqa, she was harassed on the street, and when I was wearing hijab, I was harassed, and when I with no hijab and no burqa, I get harassed still. But I just, I feel like if I'm gonna be harassed, if I'm gonna be blamed as the victim, if I'm gonna be in any whatever it is that I do, is it just seems like it's not enough. So it just feels like okay, so I might as well just do whatever it is that I want, as long as they're not gonna people are not gonna be on my side either way. And I don't know. I just really hope that I can. I don't know if we're gonna see that, because, like you said, 20 years ago, things were like my grandmother. I saw most of her pictures were just like in really short skirts, and yeah, and they just
all of our moms.
yes, yes,
Short. Like, I
yes.
wouldn't even wear that now.
So back then, it was normal for a woman to wear a short dress or something feminine. It was everyone wear this, but now after some cultural changes, okay, and there's no need to say why. So now it's not normal. It's not considered normal. So I feel what you said, and the story about the hijab and everything, because I did the same. I used to wear hijab for a very, very long time. Like, I don't remember, 16 years or yes, and I didn't connect with it. It didn't represent me. For me, there's nothing wrong about wearing hijab or wearing niqab, or nothing wrong about it, as long as you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, because some people, you're against hijab or against niqab. So this is I don't see that this is a balanced opinion, because they are doing the same, but on the other side. So what I see as freedom is for the women to wear whatever they feel comfortable with, and without someone judge them or say. So I feel everything you said, yes. But for me, I take another approach. Like, I like, because sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it's overwhelming. And I can't like wear something, and we know that I can't wear something that's too revealing and walk in the streets of Alex.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I try to balance between.
I don't do it all the time, though. Yeah. I don't do
Yes.
it all. Yeah.
Yes,
because
sometimes it happens that you look at your wardrobe and you start thinking, what can I do to wear something that I'm comfortable with and represents me, and at the same time doesn't put me in dangerous situations in the street.
And I just, I get really, really angry. And now, if someone's being, horrible, like on the street or something, like I would be horrible the same way. But if it's like really, really terrible,
For women, you're not allowed to be angry or shout or vent, or you have to do it like in a certain manner,
Yeah.
like in a certain yes, in a feminine way. Maybe you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, so people, I've been thinking about this for a very long time, because I am a good girl. I am a good girl with all what the word means. Yeah, so I struggled with this, and I reached a point where it's okay to express my feelings to certain people. Like, I can express my real feelings to people who are close to me, and I can mask this a little bit with people who are not in my close circle.
yeah,
Because um, I have a responsibility to not affect other people with my darkness, or not everybody have to deal with the dark side of me, or
yeah,
so I'm trying to reach this balance, like who can I express my those feelings with, in people who can handle those feelings, because yes, not everybody can handle those feelings, because sometimes when we learn how to deal with our feelings, we reach certain points that people around us, they just can't handle it. They didn't do it with themselves. They can't give you the same.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's also checking with the person, saying, are you able emotionally, I need to vent. Do you have the time or do you have the capacity? Because there's been times I think we've all, when we were overwhelmed or we had things and we're like, I can't be there for you like the way you deserve. Like, I'm not the right support for you. And it's hard to say that, especially to a friend or someone or a family member that's like really struggling. But rather than overwhelm yourself, which is like, to actually just be honest, like, I just don't have the capacity for now. Or saying, you know what, I'll be free on Saturday and I won't have anything on. Let's meet then and we can talk about it or whatever. So it's like arranging the time for someone that's in the right frame of mind rather than just spilling out your,
But that's not. I really don't want to give out negative vibes for people. That's why when I always have anger. By the way, I'm angry all the time. It's all within. And I know why, and I know the reasons, and I'm trying to work it out with the therapist, but I don't want to show it. And sometimes it's like it's on the surface. That's when I hide at home. I mean, people think that they tell me I cannot tolerate the comments of why are you upset all the time, why are you angry, why are you, I really I reach that point. So that's when I stay home, and because I don't want people to get those vibes, my negative vibes. But at the same time I want to express because I want empathy.
Yeah.
I want people, I want
Yeah.
someone to listen and
Absolutely,
empathize.
you deserve
Yes.
that.
So I always have this struggle with
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is that feeling this anger is very normal, and I felt it before. And I was in this stage. Maybe
Yeah.
I said it's age difference, but it's not about age. It's about the process, about the
Yeah.
journey. But if you have anger, I feel that it's better to express this anger.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to learn how to express it. What are the healthy ways to express our anger? But it's not good to suppress it.
Yeah.
It's not good, because in order to reach a certain level of understanding and acceptance, you have to go through anger. You can't skip anger.
Yeah.
It's very important. So this level is very important. So there's nothing I don't believe that all people have to be understanding and accepting thing, and just because this is the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
just accept what you feel, what level are, just accept it and express it, because it's healthy.
I think all of us are very creative women, and that is our, one of the best ways to,
Yeah.
when you have that anger to get it out, to express it, you can put it into creative form.
Yeah.
And but again, it's feeling that sadness, feeling that vulnerability, and I think once you do that, you kind of, and writing, obviously writing is really good, acting is a great one.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of ways that you can transmute that anger into positive energy, which will lead to the peace that you're talking about. So, and I think you're on your way there. I think
Yeah.
since I've known you in this last
Yeah.
year and a half or whatever, I've seen you grow and evolve and
Thank you.
become this
Yeah.
more confident,
Yeah.
and you have this beautiful sensitivity about you, which I think is amazing. So
Thank you.
I think that is beautiful, feeling and owning all of those emotions and
Yeah.
not shaming yourself and feeling, oh, I'm angry, I shouldn't feel angry. No, I mean, anger, as Mom was saying, it's such a healthy,
Yeah.
important stage. I mean, people get sick all the time from toxic positivity. They repress
Yeah.
the anger and it goes
Yeah.
into their body, their cells, and it just festers.
Yeah.
So expressing it is, you're doing the right thing by acknowledging it, owning it, and being able to identify it.
I will do my best to express my opinion, and um, to with a way that people can understand, and try to be a hammer in breaking this rock.
But do you think it's our responsibility though to make other people understand?
To make anyone change what they think about anything, but I think that the more I accept different people, the more people will start to accept me, the more I will find some people who can accept me as I am. It's not my responsibility to change anybody's opinion, and I don't want to change anybody's opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, it's acceptance. It's working on the acceptance that I accept the society as it is, but I believe that the more I do this, the more I will find other people who accept me as I am, and start like uh, um, sharing sharing the energy of acceptance. So it's contagious, like energy is contagious. So if I accept you, no matter what differences we have, I believe at some point you are going to accept me. And if you don't want to accept me, khalas, that's okay, we go different ways, then nothing wrong about it.
Yes, exactly. Change anybody. I'm just gonna talk about myself. If you feel influenced by me, fine. If you're not, okay. But I'm not going to say women should do that and women should. I'm not gonna do that. I would do that, and that's
It's maturity, isn't it?
yeah. I think so. Yes, yes.
That what you resist persists.
Mm.
So if I'm resisting something or fighting against something, it's gonna stay. But if I just be what the change I want to be in the society, I just be it. I will influence people who are ready for this with the minimum resistance, with minimum resistance, because if I resist something very in a very like loud way or a very it will I will find other people who are resisting me back. So yes,
That's it. Always feel or go against you. Yes. So if you want someone to make something, you just do it says the opposite or something.
Could you give an example?
If you say something like
yeah.
this would harm you, right? No, it wouldn't harm me at all. But if you really want them to admit that this would this whatever they do would harm them, you would say so. But you think this is a good thing for you? I think yes, but they would always say but.
Yeah.
So this but would actually make them realize that this the thing that you want them to realize without actually saying it.
I love that.
Upfront,
That's a great tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Selfie is a really good tool for helping you to see what your true desires are, because it's like someone who they have that desire for freedom, or they have that desire to do something, but they're maybe a little bit shy or insecure, or a little bit fearful, So it can be a really good tool. And it's interesting when you're, maybe you're doing something or we're wearing something and they come to you and they say, "Is it okay? Can I tell you something?" And you don't get offended. And already you know that you're going to feel a little bit triggered or offended by that, But I guess what, like Imam was saying, is like, having acceptance. So letting that person, when they say something, not being so triggered by that, just accepting, like you said, this is a society, this is the way it is,
Yes.
and just letting it wash over you, and maybe expressing yourself and saying, well, this came off as a little bit this or a little bit, and just having that dialogue going through it. I think it's important to speak your truth, your authentic truth, because then you feel like you're not repressing it, because I think that's where a lot of us struggle, is when we keep it inside or we don't say how we feel, and it's hard because, if a society is based on politeness and hospitality, there's a lot of people pleasing or self-betrayal that goes on. So it takes a lot of courage to have boundaries, to say no sometimes, which some people are shocked that they can say no, but I think it's a really important part of having a healthy sense of self,
Yeah, but I want to say it's always you always have liberated opinions. So do you feel like you had to shut that down? You don't just express your true thoughts.
Well, I would say with insecurity, it's like I'm insecure, so I need to state my opinion. And so I became less opinionated, I would say, with age so much. It's like just more acceptance. As like you were saying, acceptance is so key in a lot of things. But I think it's good to form opinions because it helps you to see where you stand on an issue or certain things. But our opinions are constantly changing. And it's interesting when you think about opinions in media. Journalism used to be based on fact, and now it's based on opinion, And so people get really triggered by opinion, and they get confused on on what's opinion and what is fact, you know. So
can understand it, like so they can understand it more, because I want to communicate. I don't want to make you feel like I know more than you, or I'm better than you, or I'm free and you're not.
yeah.
Because this is a mistake that I made, and I learned to I over the years I evolved, and I've been those people. Like I see previous versions of me in many people around me. Yeah, if I need to be to accept those versions of me, it's okay if you are in a you represent a previous version of me, so I accept you as you are, and you don't have to do like me. So this is why I say that envy is very normal. It's very normal to feel that okay, oh, this person have something that I wish I have, and it's an indication of your desires, your true desires.
Yes.
So
To be honest, I don't show it. No, I don't.
are accepted and valid, but the thing is how you express it, and I can accept people to a certain limit by boundaries, by learning how to create healthy boundaries, not walls, boundaries, and not nothing.
Yeah, for me, for example, if they ask me to do something and I just say no, I may come up with a common reason, something that it's not real, that's not true, because I really don't want to go through with the arguments of giving my thoughts and why not, and I just simply say something that's very generic, and that's how I feel. Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
To be vulnerable, which most people don't want to do, they want to come up with, and this is where I feel like people get in the habit of white lies or lying, because they're trying to save an argument, they're trying to save, when really you just can be like, you know, I just don't feel comfortable with that, and I, you know, had this and this and this, and so I just would rather not, you know, or whatever it is. It's just owning it. You know, they always say using I statements instead of blaming. That's another thing. Projection is, you know, things that we don't want to feel, uncomfortable emotions or negative things. We don't want to show weakness. We'll project and try to blame, make it the problem of the other person, instead of taking responsibility of like, okay, I'm just not, you know, it makes me feel a little insecure. That makes me feel a little unsafe, and maybe it's me, you know, it's probably can be whatever, but this is just what I'm feeling, you know. And I think, you know, which is okay, you know. I think we're getting into an age where feelings are being much more accepted and understood, and rather than being shamed by it. I mean, we still are, you know, our parents' generation and things like that is, you know, why are you so sensitive? Why are you being a crybaby? You know, I mean, I think most people universally have struggled with that. Yeah, why are you making a big deal out of it? Why are you so... you know, and that's become like our superpower, is being able to feel and being able to be real, you know, and saying how we feel and what we want. And I think by example, when we do that, we teach other people these.
But we're not forcing people to. If you are ready to listen to this, it's okay. If you're not ready, it's totally fine. You're right to force me to do what you think is right. This is the boundary. This is what I know. I like.
Using
I
the
can
phrase,
be.
Everybody's doing it. Doing it. They always say that, like, everybody's doing it. What's wrong with that? I'm not everybody.
Yes, and smart and saves energy to for me to negotiate less. Like if I find that I feel my energy feels that this person it's not we're not going anywhere with our conversation, so I just leave the conversation in a polite way. There's no need to because proving yourself or explaining yourself too much to people, it's I see this as wanting people validation. Like you need validation from these people. Yes,
I was going to say that's interesting, because they always say that's a mother wound. A mother wound is when, you know, when someone say you offend someone or something and you over explain, because it's like this, you never got the validation that you are worthy or that you are, so it's like this over people pleasing where you will apologize even when it's really not your place to apologize, or you know, when you're replying to a text, you send that long.
I was just thinking.
And
I did this because of this,
yeah,
because
it
of
is
that, because of
confident and to speak in a way that's not over explaining or over trying to prove or defend, or you know what we, our point of view, or rather than just validate it, and instead of seeking validation but learning to validate ourselves. You know, when we can't, if someone isn't willing to validate and go, yeah, I can see your point, you know, because not everybody will, some people are triggered and they can't validate what you're feeling in the moment, so you can just take the time to stop, check in, ground with yourself with the breath, you know, and validate your own feelings, you know, speak kindly to yourself. And I think that helps a lot, you know, being able to develop a practice where you're self-validating, so you're not seeking it outside of yourself, you know.
of the validation, and I have some goals and I go towards these goals, and I save energy. And people's opinions are theirs. It's not mine. So yes.
After everything we've talked about, like what would you be the most excited or the most hopeful to see in Egyptian society as a woman in your lifetime? What would you?
From my perspective, I need to see more acceptance. I need I hope to see more acceptance. I hope that I live to the day that I find people accepting each other with their diversity, with their different beliefs and different backgrounds and different ways to dress. Yeah, so I wish I can live to this day. Yeah, I wish I can be yani I can help a little bit with this. So yes.
Projecting negative vibes all the time. You know, circling back to the women struggles part, that's basically, you know, that's basically where we're cornered, where we're we're perceived like we should be all the time just happy, positive, and just kind of, you know, yeah, sending all positive vibes. And literally it's what you the things that you hear on the street, like smile for me baby, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, so that's basically what we're supposed, you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. That's that has you know, that's kind of, you know, being happy and yuppie and just kind of, you know, embracing life is kind of girly.
uh, we're being weighed, yeah, with more responsibilities than men, even emotionally and psychologically. I mean, we have to do like everything, physically and mentally and psychologically. We have to raise children. I think the one thing that I really wished for, that is that they share, both men and women, a husband and a wife share the responsibility of raising a child, not just the mother. Because what happens is that the mother does all the work, even emotionally and especially psychologically and emotionally, not physically. Okay, I can handle physically, but I need you there as a father emotionally to teach the child, or to raise a man from a man perspective. That's
To see is us meeting here again in 20 years, and we can all discuss, and we can, it will be interesting to see, yeah, what, where we're all going to be at.
changes.
So let's do it. Let's meet 20 years. Is it a deal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Agreement?
Yes.